Hello, today we are going to be going over application techniques for Sto textured acrylic finishes. We have several different options such as our Stolit Max, Stolit Low-Dezan, Stolit, Sto Element finish, as well as some other options, and various texture options such as fine, medium, and swirl. So today we will be going over Stolit Max Medium, although most of the application techniques are the same across the board for our different acrylic textured finishes. So if you can do this one, you should be able to do most of our finishes. So I'm just going to get right into it. This is just going to be a quick video, a quick how-to. I've prepped my wall here. I've applied Sto Prime sand at least 24 hours prior to applying the finish coat. We would always recommend priming your wall. Not only does it help you get better coverage, the sanded primer will also help you to be able to float it easier. So you don't want to apply this in direct sunlight. You don't want to apply it if there's inclement weather in the forecast within 24 hours after application. And you need at least 4 degrees Celsius or around 40 degrees Fahrenheit to apply any of our finishes. So let's get started. You're going to use a standard hawk and steel trowel. Comes in a 5-gallon pail. So I'm just using my steel trowel here, different sizes based on whatever your preference is. So I'm going to be applying it fairly hard. You'll see that I press pretty hard with the steel trowel, and basically I'm not leaving any extra on the wall. Some of our competitors, their finish is designed to leave extra on the wall that you need to float out. Sto finishes are designed to apply very tightly, almost as tight as you can pull it, and then it floats very easily, as you'll see. So I'm just going to apply it with my steel trowel. And the size of the aggregate is really going to set the depth of your finish. So you don't really need, for these type of finishes, the medium finish, you don't really need to be feeling how thick it is on the wall with your trowel. Basically, you just pull it as tight as you can and let the aggregate do the work. All right, so I've taken most of the extra off the wall. Typically, there would be 2 people applying this, one applying it with a steel trowel, and one person following them behind them with a plastic float. And if I was doing this on a wall, you always want to continue to keep a wet edge so you don't get a dry joint. So this part would be floated, and I would go up there and do a pass right at this edge, and it would be floated right away to make this continuous so you don't get a dry joint. So next we're going to float it. There are several different float options available out there, such as a softer plastic float or a hard PVC float. Comes down to personal preference. I like to use a softer plastic one on a swirl type of texture and a hard PVC type float on a medium texture like this. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. So I'm going to go in a figure-8 pattern, completely random. First, I'm going to press pretty hard to kind of seat the aggregate on the wall. Then I'll clean off my float, and then I'm going to very lightly go over it, fingertip pressure, just floating it over the wall to get the finish. You can see here there's actually not a lot left on my float, considering the entire wall. Like I said, pull it very tight with your steel trowel. Let the trowel do most of the work, and you're just going to lightly float over top. So next, after I've pressed pretty hard to seat it, I'm just going to go back with a fairly clean float. Just very lightly go over top to lay down the aggregate. We're just looking to take off any trauma marks, any high spots, things like that. You don't want to overwork it. A lot of plasterers are perfectionists, but really you just want to get it, you know, hit it with your float a couple of times and then walk away. The more you overwork it and continue to work it, then you could get burn marks in your wall or potentially break the aggregate and you might see dark spots. So just float it once and walk away from it. So that's it. Fairly simple techniques. Thank you for watching. And of course, if you have any questions, contact your local stow rep and we'd be happy to answer your questions for you.